The stars had always called to humanity, but it took them 300 years to answer back. In the year 2387, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, watching the blue glow of the quantum jump drive fade away. Behind them, Earth was now just a memory. Ahead lay the unknown. "Jump complete, Captain," reported Lieutenant Commander Lisa Parker from her station. "We are now in the Kepler 442 system." Jake nodded and looked out at the strange new stars. This was it. The first human mission beyond their own solar system. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had spent 20 years building the quantum drive that made this possible. Now it was up to Jake and his crew to make first contact with whatever they found out here. "Sensors are picking up something," said Science Officer Danny Walsh. "It's big, Captain. Really big." The main screen flickered to life, showing a massive space station floating near the fourth planet. It was unlike anything humans had ever built. The station looked like a crystal flower, with thousands of transparent petals spreading out from a central core. Beautiful lights danced across its surface. "Are there any ships?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir. At least 50 of them. They're not like our ships at all. They look more like, well, like flying sculptures." Jake felt his heart beating faster. This was really happening. They were about to meet aliens. "Captain, we're getting a signal," reported Communications Officer Betty Cruz. "It's not in any human language, but the computer is trying to translate it." The speakers crackled to life. A voice, strange but somehow musical, filled the bridge. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Zephyrian space. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." Jake cleared his throat. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earthship USS Horizon. We come in peace. We are explorers from the planet Earth, and we wish to make contact with your people." There was a long pause. Then the voice returned, sounding more excited. "Earth? We have never heard of this world. You are not in our records. This is ... interesting. Please follow our guide ships to Trade Station Velmora. Our trade minister wishes to meet you." 3 of the beautiful alien ships approached the horizon. They moved like dancers, smooth and graceful. Jake had never seen anything so elegant. "Follow them," he ordered. "But keep our weapons ready, just in case." The trip to the station took 2 hours. During that time, Jake studied everything they could see. The alien ships were clearly more advanced than anything humans had built. They seemed to be made of some kind of living metal that shifted and flowed like water dot when they docked at the station. Jake chose a small team to go with him. Lisa Parker would handle communications. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell would study their technology. Dr. Sarah Kim would handle medical issues. And Marine Sergeant Tony Adams would keep them safe. The airlock opened, and they stepped into a world of wonder. The station was even more beautiful inside than outside. The walls were made of the same crystal-like material, and they glowed with soft light. Plants from a dozen different worlds grew in hanging gardens. The air smelled like flowers and rain. The aliens were waiting for them. The Zephyrians were tall and thin, with skin that changed color like a rainbow. They had 4 arms and large eyes that seemed to see everything. Their leader stepped forward. "Welcome, beings of Earth. I am Trade Minister Valtar. We are honored by your visit." Jake bowed slightly. "Thank you for welcoming us. We are honored to meet you." Valtar gestured with all 4 arms. "Come, we have prepared a ceremony of greeting. It is our way." They were led to a large chamber filled with hundreds of Zephyrians. The walls showed images of space, stars, and distant worlds. It was like standing inside a living map of the galaxy. "The ceremony is simple," Veltar explained. "We will share the sacred water of friendship. You must drink, and then pour the rest onto the starstone. This shows that you respect our ways and wished to be friends. Jake looked at the cup they handed him. The water inside glowed with a soft blue light. It didn't look dangerous, but he was careful anyway. "Is it safe for humans to drink?" he asked. "Of course. This water is blessed by our gods. It cannot harm anyone who comes in peace." Jake drank. The water tasted like starlight, if starlight had a flavor. It was the most wonderful thing he had ever tasted. He smiled and walked toward the starstone, a large crystal in the center of the room. But Lisa Parker was nervous. She had been studying the Zephyrians carefully, and something seemed wrong. When Jake poured the water onto the stone, she stepped forward to get a better look. Her foot hit a small crystal on the floor. It shattered with a sound like breaking glass dot. The room went completely silent. Every Zephyrian stopped moving. Their skin turned dark red, the color of anger. "You have broken the memory crystal," Veltar said, his voice cold. "This crystal held the memories of our ancestors. It was 10,000 years old." Lisa's face went pale. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't know." "Ignorance is no excuse," Veltar replied. "You have committed a great crime. You must face justice." Jake stepped between Lisa and the aliens. "It was an accident. She meant no harm." "That does not matter. The law is clear. She must be punished." The beautiful welcome ceremony had turned into a nightmare. The Zephyrians surrounded the humans, their skin now dark with anger. More aliens appeared, carrying weapons that looked like staffs of light. "I'm sorry," Jake said firmly, "but we will not let you harm our crew member. She made a mistake, but she doesn't deserve punishment for an accident." Veltar's large eyes narrowed. "You refuse to accept our justice? You are guests in our space. You must follow our laws." "Not when those laws are unfair," Jake replied. The trade minister made a gesture, and the weapon-carrying Zephyrians stepped forward. "Then you are not guests. You are criminals. Your ship will be taken. Your crew will be imprisoned. You will learn to respect the Zephyrian way." Jake touched his communicator. "Ryan, we need to leave, now." "I'm trying, Captain, but they've done something to our engines. We're trapped." The Zephyrians had used some kind of device to disable the USS Horizon. Jake and his team were prisoners on an alien station, billions of miles from home. The peaceful first contact had become humanity's first interstellar crisis. But Jake Morrison didn't know that he and his crew were about to do something that would change the galaxy forever. The Zephyrians thought they were dealing with just another weak species. They had no idea what humans could do when they were trapped and desperate. The rise of humanity was about to begin. The news spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. The Zephyrian Collective, proud traders who had ruled their corner of space for 3,000 years, had been embarrassed by a single ship from an unknown world called Earth. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell had done the impossible. In just 6 hours, he had figured out how the Zephyrian systems worked and found a way to break free. The USS Horizon had not only escaped, but had taken detailed scans of every Zephyrian ship and station before jumping away. How did they do it? Asked Admiral Crixon of the Altarian Republic, studying the reports that had reached his desk. His science officer, a thin blue creature named Yiltar, shook his head. "We don't know, sir. The Zephyrians say the humans adapted to their technology in hours. That should be impossible." But it had happened. And now every major power in the galaxy was asking the same question. Who were these humans? And what did they want? On Earth, Admiral Susan Blake stood in the command center of the Space Defense Force, watching the screens that showed humanity's growing fleet. The success of the USS Horizon had changed everything. In just 2 years, humans had built 50 new ships and established colonies on 12 different worlds. "Admiral, "We're getting reports from the outer colonies," said Colonel Pete Johnson. "Alien ships have been spotted near New Austin and New Dallas. They're not attacking, but they're definitely watching us." Susan nodded. She had expected this. The galaxy had noticed humanity, and now they were trying to figure out what to do about it. "What about the Krillian Empire?" she asked. "That's the problem, ma'am. Emperor Thekmer has been making speeches about dangerous newcomers and the need to maintain order. Our spies think he's planning something big. The Krillian Empire was the galaxy's strongest military power. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and enslaved dozens of species. If they decided humans were a threat, it would mean war. But Susan Blake had been preparing for this day. She had studied every report from the USS Horizon, every piece of alien technology that Ryan Bell had managed to copy. Human engineers had been working day and night, building new weapons and defenses. "Send word to all colony commanders," she ordered. "Full alert status. And get me Captain Ben Rodriguez. If the Krillians want to fight, we'll give them one they'll never forget." The confrontation came 3 weeks later. Captain Ben Rodriguez was commanding the patrol around New Austin when his sensors officer, Lieutenant Amy Foster, spotted the enemy fleet. "Captain, I'm reading 12 large ships approaching from the outer system. They're huge, sir. Much bigger than anything we've seen before." Ben looked at the tactical display. His small fleet consisted of just 3 destroyers: the EDF Defiant, the EDF Challenger, and the EDF Guardian. Against 12 Krillian battlecruisers, they didn't stand a chance. Or that's what anyone else would have thought. "Signal the colony," Ben ordered. "Tell them to prepare for possible attack. And get me a channel to the Krillian fleet." The main screen flickered, showing the bridge of the lead Krillian ship. General Zexhai was a massive creature, covered in thick armor-like skin. His 4 eyes glowed red with anger. "Human vessel, you will surrender immediately. Your species has been judged a threat to galactic peace. You will be taken to the Empire for processing." Ben smiled. "I'm sorry, General, but we're not surrendering today. You're in human space now. I suggest you turn around and go home." Zexhai's eyes blazed brighter. "You dare defy the Empire? You are 3 small ships against my war fleet. You will be destroyed." "Maybe," Ben said calmly, "but it won't be as easy as you think." The channel closed. Ben turned to his crew. "All right, people, we've trained for this. Remember, we're not trying to fight them ship to ship. We're trying to survive long enough to teach them a lesson." The battle began when the Krillians opened fire. Their weapons were powerful, designed to destroy large targets in space. But the human ships moved differently than anything the Krillians had fought before. Instead of standing and fighting, the 3 destroyers split up and began moving in complex patterns. They used the gravity of nearby asteroids to change direction suddenly. They flew close to the colony's defensive platforms, using them as cover. "They're like insects," snarled Zexhai. "Stop chasing them and use the planet-killer missiles." But when the Krillians fired their most powerful weapons, the human ships weren't where they expected them to be. The missiles hit empty space while the destroyers attacked from 3 different directions. The humans had learned something important from their encounter with the Zephyrians. Alien weapons were powerful, but they were designed to fight other aliens who followed predictable patterns. Humans didn't follow any patterns at all. Lieutenant Commander Carol Davis, commanding the EDF Challenger, led her ship directly between 2 Krillian cruisers. The aliens hesitated, afraid of hitting each other. In that moment of confusion, she launched every missile she had. The Krillian ships had strong shields, but they were designed to stop attacks from the front. The human missiles hit them from the sides and rear, where their defenses were weaker. "Impossible," breathed General Zexhai as he watched 2 of his ships explode. How are they doing this? Captain Rodriguez had moved the Defiant close to the largest Krillian ship. Instead of firing weapons, he did something completely unexpected. He rammed his ship into the enemy's sensor array, destroying their ability to track targets. All ships, execute Plan Gamma, he ordered over the radio. The 3 human destroyers suddenly stopped running. They formed a triangle around the confused Krillian fleet and began broadcasting strange signals. The signals caused the Krillian computers to malfunction, making their weapons fire at random. In the chaos, 2 more Krillian ships destroyed each other. A 3rd ship, trying to escape, flew directly into an asteroid field and was crushed. "Retreat!" ordered Zex High. "All ships retreat." The remaining Krillian ships fled, leaving 4 of their number destroyed or disabled. The humans had won their first major space battle, and they had done it with tactics that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. Dr. Amy Foster, who had been studying the battle from the colony, made a report that would terrify every military leader in the galaxy. "The humans don't just adapt to our technology," she wrote. "They improve it. Every piece of alien equipment they capture becomes more dangerous in their hands. They learn faster than any species we've ever encountered." The news of the battle spread even faster than the first reports about the USS Horizon. The Krillian Empire, which had never lost a major battle, had been defeated by 3 small human ships. The victory sent shockwaves through every alien government in the Altarian Republic. Admiral Crixon called an emergency meeting of the High Council. "The humans are not just another species," he told the assembled leaders. "They are something new, something dangerous. Every encounter with them results in our forces being defeated or humiliated." "What do you suggest?" asked Counselor Melvara. "We need to study them more carefully, and we need to prepare for the possibility that they might be unstoppable." But it was already too late for careful study. Humanity had tasted victory, and they wanted more. Admiral Susan Blake was already planning the next phase of human expansion. New ships were being built, new colonies established, new weapons developed. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you awakened to sleeping. Giant. And that giant was very, very angry. 5 years had passed since the victory at New Alston, and the galaxy had learned to fear the name human. Military academies on 100 worlds now taught courses about human doctrine, the strange and terrifying way that humans fought wars. Admiral Colin Hayes stood in the command center of the newest human battleship, the EDF Titan, watching the holographic display that showed humanity's growing empire. 47 worlds now flew the blue and white flag of Earth. Each one was a fortress, defended by weapons that alien engineers still couldn't understand. "Admiral, we're getting reports from the Outer Rim," said his aide, Commander Kate Wilson. "The Vrex Syndicate is moving ships toward our territory." Colin nodded grimly. The Vrex were the galaxy's most feared warriors. They were a collection of different species united by one thing: their love of war. They had conquered entire sectors by crushing anyone who opposed them. "How many ships?" he asked. "Our spies count at least 200 war vessels, sir. They're being led by Warlord Grixstar himself." Colin had heard of Grixstar. The alien leader had never lost a battle. He was known for destroying entire planets just to make a point. If he was coming for humanity, it meant the Vrex thought they had found easy prey. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The target was New Dallas, a small farming colony on the edge of human space. The colony had only 30,000 people, most of them families, who had come to start new lives among the stars. It seemed like the perfect place for the Vrex to prove that humans could be beaten. Colony Administrator Karen Brooks had been a soldier before she became a farmer. When the early warning systems detected the Vrex fleet approaching, she knew exactly what to do. "Attention all colonists," she announced over the emergency broadcast system. "This is Code Red. The Vrex are coming. Everyone knows the drill. Get to your emergency positions and prepare for siege." The colonists didn't panic. They had been preparing for this day for months. Every man, woman, and child over the age of 12 had been trained in basic combat. Every building had been designed to serve as a fortress if needed, but the Vrex had no idea what they were walking into. Warlord Grickstar commanded his fleet from the bridge of his flagship, the Bone Crusher. He was a massive creature, covered in scars from 1,000 battles. His species, the Vrex Prime, were natural warriors who lived for the joy of destroying their enemies. "Look at this pathetic little world," he growled to his officers. 30,000 soft humans who think they can farm in peace. We will teach them what war really means. The Vrex fleet surrounded New Dallas and began their traditional siege tactics. They cut off all communications with the outside galaxy. They destroyed the orbital defense platforms. They landed troops on the planet's surface and began the slow work of breaking down the colonists' defenses. But something was wrong. The humans weren't fighting like any enemy the Vrex had faced before. Instead of building strong walls and defending fixed positions, the humans seemed to be everywhere at once. They used the planet's caves and forests to move around unseen. They struck at Vrex supply lines and then vanished before reinforcements could arrive. "They're like ghosts," complained General Caxdor, Grickstar's second in command. "Every time we think we have them cornered, they slip away." Worse, the humans were stealing Vrex equipment and using it against them. Vrex weapons were designed to be used only by Vrex biology, but somehow the humans had figured out how to modify them. "Sir, we've lost contact with the third landing force," reported a communications officer. The last message was screaming about humans wearing our own armor. Grickstar's eyes burned with fury. "Impossible. Our equipment is biologically locked. Only Vrex can use it." But the impossible was happening. Human engineers, led by Colony Technical Chief Steve Mitchell, had spent weeks studying captured Vrex technology. They had learned to bypass the biological locks and improve the equipment's performance. Now human fighters were wearing Vrex battle armor and carrying Vrex weapons. But the equipment had been modified with human improvements. The armor was lighter and more flexible. The weapons were more accurate and had better range. The siege dragged on for weeks. The Vrex, who usually conquered worlds in days, found themselves trapped in a grinding war of attrition. Every day brought new surprises from the human defenders. The colonists turned their farming equipment into weapons. Tractors became mobile gun platforms. Irrigation systems became networks for moving troops and supplies. Even the children helped, serving as messengers and scouts. "This is madness," snarled Grickstar. "They're not soldiers. They're farmers and merchants and workers. How are they doing this?" The answer came from Dr. Peter Grant, a human military historian who had been studying the battle from his office on Earth. His report would become one of the most important documents in galactic military history. "The Vrex think of war as a game with rules," he wrote. "They have honor codes and traditional tactics. They fight the way warriors have always fought. But humans don't see war as a game. They see it as a problem to be solved. And humans are very good at solving problems." The end came suddenly. The Vrex fleet, running low on supplies and suffering from constant harassment, prepared for one final assault on New Dallas. Grickstar gathered his remaining forces for what he believed would be the decisive battle. But when the attack began, the humans were ready. Corinne Brooks had spent the entire siege preparing for this moment. She had turned the colony into a trap, with hidden weapons and false walls that could be collapsed to crush attacking forces. The Vrex walked directly into the most devastating ambush in their military history. Human fighters, wearing captured Vrex armor and carrying improved Vrex. Weapons emerged from concealed positions throughout the colony. They moved like shadows, striking at the confused alien forces from every direction. The battle lasted only 6 hours. When it was over, the entire Vrex landing force had been wiped out. Grickstar himself was found dead in the ruins of the colonies. Main Square, killed by a human farmer using a modified Vrex energy rifle. But the most shocking discovery came when the human relief fleet arrived. Captain Ben Rodriguez, now commanding a full battle group, found the Vrex fleet in complete disarray. The colonists had not just defended themselves. They had somehow managed to attack the enemy ships in orbit. "How is this possible?" asked Rodriguez's science officer, Lieutenant Nancy Clark Dott. The answer was both simple and terrifying. The humans had built their own spacecraft using parts from crashed Vrex ships. They had taken wreckage from the battlefield and turned it into weapons of war. "Look at this," said Chief Engineer Danny Walsh, examining one of the improvised human fighters. They took a Vrex landing craft, stripped out everything unnecessary, and added engines from 3 different ships. It shouldn't work, but it does. And it's faster than anything the Vrex have. News of the victory at New Dallas spread across the galaxy faster than any previous human achievement. The Vrex Syndicate, which had never suffered a complete defeat, had been destroyed by a single human farming colony. The psychological impact was devastating. If human farmers could defeat the galaxy's most feared warriors, what could human soldiers do? Admiral Hayes received reports from intelligence agents on dozens of worlds. Alien governments were holding emergency meetings. Military leaders were demanding new strategies for dealing with the human threat. Some species were even discussing the possibility of surrender before humans attacked them. "We're not trying to conquer anyone," Hayes told his staff. "We just want to be left alone, to build our colonies in peace." But the galaxy no longer believed that. Every human victory made other species more afraid. And fear, as humanity was about to learn, could be the most dangerous enemy of all. The rise of humanity was accelerating. Soon, the entire galaxy would be forced to choose, accept human dominance or unite against the greatest threat they had ever faced. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called in secret. Representatives from 12 of the galaxy's most powerful species gathered on the neutral station of Harmony Point, hidden in the darkness between the stars. Admiral Crix On, of the Altarian Republic, stood before the assembled delegates, his blue skin pale with worry. "Fellow beings, we are here to discuss a threat unlike any we have faced before. The humans have become too dangerous to ignore." Trade Minister Veltar of the Zephyrian Collective nodded his agreement. "They mock our traditions. They steal our technology. They turn our own weapons against us. And they're spreading," added General Yexmore of the Hegemony States, 47 worlds in just 5 years. At this rate, they'll control half the galaxy within a decade. The largest figure in the room was Ambassador Thukral of the Krillian Empire. The massive alien's 4 eyes glowed with barely controlled rage. "My Emperor demands action. The humans humiliated our fleet. They destroyed the mighty Vrex. They must be stopped." "But how?" asked Senator Pixuela of the Centauri Federation. "Every species that has fought them has been defeated. The Vrex were the strongest warriors in the galaxy, and a single human farming colony destroyed them." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the reports from New Dallas. The images of human colonists wearing Vrex armor, carrying improved Vrex weapons, flying ships built from alien wreckage. It was the stuff of nightmares. "There is a way," said Admiral Crixon quietly. "We must unite, all of us. The full strength of the galaxy against one upstart species." And so the Galactic Alliance was born. 12 species, hundreds of worlds, thousands of warships united by one purpose: To stop humanity's expansion before it was too late, the ultimatum was delivered to Earth by a massive fleet of Alliance ships. President Martha Collins stood in the Oval Office, watching the alien armada on the main screen. There were more ships than humans had ever seen in one place. "Madam President," said Admiral Tony Rodriguez, the son of the famous Dr. Elena Rodriguez, who had built the first quantum drive. "They're demanding we halt all expansion, return to our original territory, and accept Alliance oversight of our activities." Martha Collins had been a soldier before she became a politician. She looked at the alien fleet without fear. "And if we refuse, then it's war, Mom. The biggest war in galactic history." The President of Earth made her decision without hesitation. "Send them our answer, Admiral. Tell them that humanity doesn't bow to threats. If they want a war, they'll get one." The Galactic War began 3 days later when Alliance forces attacked the human colony of New Boston. The battle was meant to be a quick demonstration of Alliance power. Instead, it became the first sign that this war would be unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Alliance commander, Admiral Zixstar of the Altarian Republic, led a fleet of 200 ships against the colony's defenses. New Boston was protected by only 30 human vessels, but those ships fought like nothing the Alliance had encountered. "They're not following any known battle patterns," reported Zixstar's tactical officer. "They're using their own ships as weapons, ramming our vessels at full speed." The human commander, Captain Nicole Turner, had learned from every previous battle. She knew the Alliance expected humans to fight defensively, trying to protect their colony. Instead, she ordered her ships to attack with suicidal courage. But the attacks weren't really suicidal. The human ships were equipped with advanced escape pods and teleportation systems. The crews would ram enemy vessels, then teleport to safety just before impact. The Alliance lost 30 ships to these ramming attacks before they realized what was happening. "Impossible," breathed Admiral Zixstar. "They're sacrificing their own ships to destroy ours." But the humans weren't sacrificing anything. They were using their ships as guided missiles, then building new ones from the wreckage of both fleets. By the end of the battle, the Alliance had lost more ships than they had destroyed. The war escalated rapidly. Admiral Tony Rodriguez, commanding the human war effort from the massive battleship EDF Titan, unleashed tactics that horrified Alliance commanders Dot at the Battle of Proxima Centauri. General Lisa Wong led a fleet of captured Alliance ships against their former owners. The humans had not only repaired the captured vessels, but had improved them with human technology. The Alliance fleet found itself fighting against their own ships, now faster and more deadly than ever before. "They're using our own tactics against us," reported the Alliance commander, "but they're doing it better than we ever did." The most shocking moment came when Captain Frank Parker executed what became known as the false flag maneuver. He took captured Alliance ships and used them to attack other Alliance forces, making it look like different species were fighting each other. "The Altarians are firing on us," screamed the commander of a Krillian battle group. "They've betrayed the Alliance." In the confusion that followed, half the Alliance fleet destroyed the other half, while the human forces watched from a safe distance. When the smoke cleared, the Alliance had suffered their worst defeat of the war. But the Alliance's greatest fear was realized when they attempted to attack Earth itself. The Sol System's defenses, built by Admiral Carl Davis, were unlike anything in the galaxy. The Alliance gathered their largest fleet for the assault on humanity's home world. 5,000 ships, representing every major species in the galaxy, jumped into the solar system expecting to end the war in a single battle. Instead, they found themselves trapped in the most sophisticated defensive network ever created. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a weapon. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy readings from the asteroid belt," reported a terrified Alliance sensor operator. The humans have weaponized the asteroids themselves. It was true. Human engineers had spent years hollowing out asteroids and turning them into hidden weapons platforms. When the Alliance fleet arrived, they found themselves surrounded by thousands of concealed gun emplacements. But the real surprise came when the Alliance ships tried to retreat. The humans had somehow moved several gas giants into new orbits, creating a gravity trap that prevented faster-than-light travel. "We're trapped," Admiral Crickson realized with horror. "They've caged us in our own attack formation." The Battle of Seoul lasted 18 hours. When it was over, the Alliance had lost 4,000 ships. The humans had captured most of the surviving vessels and their crews. The psychological impact was devastating. How did they do this? Asked a captured Alliance officer. How did they move planets? The answer came from human scientists who had been studying alien technology for years. They had learned to combine the best features of dozens of different species' innovations. The result was technology that surpassed anything any single species had achieved. Dr. Marcus Lee, now Director of Human Scientific Research, explained it to the terrified prisoners. "You all developed advanced technology for specific purposes. We took the best ideas from everyone and combined them. Your gravity, manipulators, their energy shields, those quantum computers, we made them all work together." The war was effectively over. The Alliance had lost their main fleet, their best commanders, and their will to fight. But the humans weren't finished. They had learned something important about galactic politics. Weakness invited attack. Admiral Tony Rodriguez began the final phase of the war. Human fleets, now equipped with the best technology from a dozen species, began capturing Alliance worlds. But they didn't destroy the planets or enslave the populations. Instead, they offered a choice: join the new order or face continued war. Most worlds chose to surrender. The humans had proven they could defeat any force in the galaxy. Better to join them than to be destroyed by them. The Treaty of Titan was signed aboard the EDF Titan, with representatives from every major species in the galaxy. The terms were simple. The Alliance would disband, human expansion would continue, and any species that attacked human interests would face the combined might of the new human hegemony. "This is not conquest," Admiral Rodriguez told the assembled delegates. "This is survival. You forced us to prove we could defend ourselves. Now everyone knows the price of threatening humanity." The galaxy had learned a terrible lesson. Humanity wasn't just another species to be controlled or eliminated. They were something new, something that grew stronger with every challenge they faced. The rise of humanity was complete. The galaxy would never be the same. 3 years after the Treaty of Titan, the galaxy looked very different. The massive space station that orbited Earth had become the new center of galactic government. Representatives from 400 species came to Seoul to ask for permission, to request help, or simply to pay their respects to the rulers of the galaxy. President Robert Hayes stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council chamber, watching the parade of alien ships arriving for the monthly assembly. Some were trade vessels bringing goods from distant worlds. Others were military ships carrying officers who wanted to learn human battle tactics. All of them flew the blue and white flag of the human hegemony alongside their own colors. "It's hard to believe," said Secretary of State Janet Wilson, joining him at the window. 5 years ago, we were just trying to make peaceful contact with our neighbors. Now we're running the galaxy." Robert nodded. The transformation had been remarkable, and he had to admit, terrifying. Humanity had never wanted to conquer the galaxy. They had simply wanted to survive and grow. But the galaxy had forced them to become something more. "The Altarian delegation is here," Janet reported. "Admiral Crickson wants to discuss the new defense agreements." Robert smiled. Admiral Crickson, who had once been humanity's greatest enemy, was now one of their most loyal allies. It was amazing how defeat could change someone's perspective. The Galactic Council met in a chamber that had been designed to accommodate hundreds of different species. The air was carefully filtered to support dozens of different breathing requirements. The gravity could be adjusted for different zones. Translation systems allowed instant communication between species that had never spoken to each other before. At the center of it all sat the Human Council. 5 representatives who spoke for Earth and all its colonies. They were advised by alien experts, protected by alien guards, and served by alien staff. But everyone knew who was really in charge. The first item on today's agenda, announced Council Chairman Alex Turner, is the request from the Rigel Consortium for protection from pirate raids. A tall, insect-like creature stepped forward. Honored humans, our trade routes are being attacked by raiders from the Outer Rim. We request the assistance of the Hegemony Defense Force. Admiral Helen Carter, commander of the Galactic Defense Force, studied the request on her tablet. The Defense Force was humanity's greatest achievement. It combined the best ships and weapons from every species in the galaxy, all under human command. We'll send a patrol fleet to your sector, she announced. 3 human destroyers and support vessels from your own navy. The pirates will be dealt with. The Rigel representative bowed deeply. We are grateful for your protection. This was how the galaxy worked now. Humans provided military protection and technological advancement. In return, other species provided resources, labor, and loyalty. It was a system that worked because everyone benefited from it. But not everyone was happy with the new order. The second item, Sharon Turner continued, is the complaint from the Free Systems Alliance. A group of representatives from the galaxy's outer rim stood up. These were species that had refused to join the human hegemony. They still claimed independence, though everyone knew it was just a pretense. The humans are expanding too fast, declared Ambassador Rixtal of the Free Systems. They have colonies on over 300 worlds now. Soon there will be no room left for independent species. Robert Hayes stepped forward to answer personally. As president of the human hegemony, he rarely spoke at council meetings. When he did, everyone listened. The free systems are welcome to join the hegemony at any time, he said calmly. We offer protection, technology, and prosperity to all member species. Those who choose to remain independent are free to do so, as long as they don't threaten our interests. And if we do threaten your interests? Asked Ambassador Rixtal defiantly. Robert's expression didn't change, but everyone in the chamber felt the temperature drop. Then you'll discover why the Krillian Empire, the Vrex Syndicate, and the Galactic Alliance no longer exist. The threat was delivered so quietly that it was almost polite. But every being in the room understood the message. Humanity had destroyed every major power that had opposed them. The free systems could join willingly or be conquered. There was no third option. After the council meeting, Robert met with his top advisors in the secure conference room. The group included Admiral Helen Carter, Secretary Janet Wilson, and Dr. Sandra Kim, the Director of Xenobiological Research. The free systems are getting bolder, Janet reported. Our spies say they're trying to form some kind of resistance movement. How many ships do they have? Asked Admiral Carter. Maybe 500, scattered across 20 systems. Nothing we can't handle. Robert considered this. 500 ships would have been a serious threat 5 years ago. Now they were barely worth noticing. Human technology had advanced so rapidly that their oldest ships could defeat entire alien fleets. Let them plot, he decided. As long as they don't actually attack our colonies, we'll leave them alone. But keep watching them. Dr. Sandra Kim cleared her throat. There's something else we need to discuss. My research team has made some disturbing discoveries about human evolution. Robert raised an eyebrow. Disturbing how? Sandra activated a holographic display showing human brain scans. We've been studying the brains of humans who have spent time in space, especially those who have fought against aliens. They're changing. Changing. How? They're developing new neural pathways, enhanced pattern recognition, improved tactical thinking. It's as if combat with alien species is triggering evolutionary changes in real time. The room fell silent. Robert stared at the brain scans, trying to understand what he was seeing. Are you saying that fighting aliens is making us smarter? Not just smarter, different. Every human who has faced alien technology comes back changed. They can see patterns that other people miss. They can solve problems faster. They can adapt to new situations almost instantly. Admiral Carter leaned forward. Is this why we've been so successful? Because we're evolving into something new? I think so. And I think the galaxy knows it. That's why they're so afraid of us. We're not just another species. We're becoming something they've never seen before. Robert felt a chill run down his spine. Humanity's rise to power hadn't been planned or intended. It had been an evolutionary response to the challenges of space warfare. They had become the galaxy's dominant species because their brains were literally rewiring themselves to be better at survival. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent message from the outer colonies. Commander Gary Mitchell, commanding the defense of New California, appeared on the main screen. Mr. President, we're under attack. It's the Free Systems Alliance. They've got about 200 ships, and they're hitting us hard. Robert looked at Admiral Carter. How long to get reinforcements there? 4 hours with our fastest ships. Do it. And Helen? Yes, sir? Don't just drive them off. Destroy them. All of them. It's time the galaxy learned what happens when you attack humans. The Battle of New California lasted 6 hours. The Free Systems Alliance had hoped to prove that humans could be defeated if enough species worked together. Instead, they proved the opposite. The human defense fleet, led by Commander Mitchell, used tactics that the Alliance couldn't understand. They fought like a single organism, each ship knowing exactly what the others would do. They adapted to alien weapons in real time, turning captured equipment against its former owners. But the most shocking moment came when the human reinforcements arrived. Admiral Carter didn't bring more ships. She brought something new, a vessel that the aliens had never seen before. The EDF Infinity was humanity's latest creation. It was built using technology from every species in the galaxy, combined and improved by human engineers. The ship was the size of a small moon, and it carried enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. Surrender now, Admiral Carter broadcast to the Alliance fleet, or be destroyed. The Alliance commander, Admiral Vexcar of the Hegemony States, laughed. 1 ship against 200? You humans have become arrogant. 1 ship is all we need, Carter replied calmly. The EDF Infinity opened fire. Its weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Energy beams that could pierce any shield, missiles that could track targets across star systems, gravity, weapons that could crush ships like Paper Dot in 30 minutes. The entire Alliance fleet was gone. 200 ships, thousands of alien warriors, wiped out by a single human vessel. The survivors who escaped in life pods carried a message back to their home worlds. Humanity had become something beyond their understanding. The destruction of the free systems. Alliance marked the end of organized resistance to human rule. Within months, every independent world had requested membership in the human hegemony. It was better to be a junior partner than to be extinct. Dr. Sandra Kim's final report was presented to the Galactic Council 6 months later. Her research had revealed the truth about humanity's rise to power. "We are witnessing the emergence of a new form of intelligence," she announced to the assembled representatives. "Humans are not just another species. They are an evolutionary leap forward. Their ability to adapt, innovate, and survive is beyond anything we have seen in the galaxy's history. What does this mean for the rest of us?" asked former Admiral Crixaw,